Fox News did a segment on GQ's new list of the craziest politicians in America, and they're going to be angry. They're outraged here because most of the politicians are Republicans, which is a hint, by the way, that it's a great list and it's a fairly accurate list, but they don't see it that way, so see if you can count the stupid comments and arguments that they make.
At just about 8 minutes to the top of the hour, GQ now releasing their list of the top craziest politicians of 2014. And according to the magazine, 17 out of 20 of the list were all Republicans. The only Democrats were Texas Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, Georgia Congressman Hank Johnson, and Vice President Joe Biden.
So are there really no more Democrats that fit the bill? Or is this just, once again, media bias at play? Let's ask Boston Herald columnist and talk show host Adriana Cohen. It's great to see you again.
Great to see you both. Happy New Year.
So it doesn't seem like an even divide here.
Absolutely not. I mean, clearly GQ is engaging in some serious media bias. If they were bipartisan and objective, this list would have been 10 Democrats, 10 Republicans. But when they're calling out 17 crazy Republicans and only 3 Democrats, I mean, this is teetering on propaganda.
Sure, if you took this list and said top politicians and then you had 17 male and 3 female, they would be the first to cry bias when it comes to gender. But here, not at all. Who would you have put on the list?
I would have put Jonathan Gruber on the list. I mean, he has admitted that he knowingly deceived the American people. He basically tricked the American people into voting for President Obama and Obamacare, and he manipulated data. He admitted that he put tortured language into President Obama's health care legislation to pass it through, and he was dishonest. So he definitely should have made the list.
And what about in Massachusetts? Anyone in Massachusetts you feel fits the bill?
Yes, Senator Elizabeth Warren. You know, her claim to fame is consumer protection. And due to Obamacare, over 5 million Americans have lost their health care. She should be protecting Americans, those consumers like myself who saw their health care plan canceled and our premiums skyrocket. So why has she been silent? I mean, 5 million Americans have lost their health care plan. Many have lost their doctor and even their hospital. And they've suffered financial damages, yet she has gone silent. So this screams phoniness to me.
Well,
Elizabeth Warren is phony. Elizabeth Warren is one of the craziest politicians in America. If you think that's the case, you think the American people are crazy because she agrees with the American people on all the serious issues. She wants to raise the minimum wage. She wants to tax the rich. She wants to end the war. She wants to regulate Wall Street. You name the issue, I will tell you how Elizabeth Warren is right in line with mainstream American opinion. But they try to say she's crazy. Look, even if you disagree with Elizabeth Warren, you can't say that she's crazy. She's soft-spoken, she's kind, she's smart. Even if you disagree with her, she makes logical points. How can anybody say that Elizabeth Warren, that is probably the smartest, least crazy politician in Washington? But Fox News in the Twilight Zone, they flip it on its head and they say she's crazy. Oh my God. And their reasoning, they say, well, she's crazy because supposedly she cares about consumer protection. Bleh, who cares about that? But why wasn't she there to protect the consumers when people lost their health care because of Obamacare? You idiot! They lost worse health care. They lost health care that was expensive, which didn't give them any benefits whatsoever. And now they have new policies, which they pay less for, and they get better services, and they get better care. These are the facts. By the way, this is why I was flipping out, whatever it was last year when President Obama was given the lie of the year for saying if you like your health care, you can keep it. Because yes, it was a lie, but it was a lie that was a good lie. Because the reality was you can't keep your health care if it sucks. You get a cheaper policy and you get better care. So as far as lies go, it's a fucking dandy one because those people should have been pleasantly surprised. Fox News, man, they drive me crazy. Now let's address some of the other points here. Again, count the number of fails. There were so many fails it's impossible to keep up. When they first asked her, well, who would you have put on this list? She goes, Jonathan Gruber. Okay, the list is of politicians. Jonathan Gruber is not a politician. No, but how did no producer stop them? And it wasn't made up on the spot. You know how I know that? Because on the screen when she was talking, the second she said Gruber, they put up pictures of Gruber. Can't Google search it that fast. The second she said Gruber, it went up on screen. So you know what that means, right? This went through a production meeting. So she said, I think Gruber is one of the craziest politicians. And Elizabeth Hasselbeck and the other guy, who was Scott Brown, who, by the way, he lost to Elizabeth Warren. I wonder why he tried to bring her up, right? Because he hates her for that reason. But nobody in the room knew that this guy's not a politician. Fox is beyond pathetic. They don't know anything about politics. Not a single producer, not a single host said, wait a second, Jonathan Gruber's not a politician. He can't go on this list. Fail. Okay, and then the craziest part, of course, is when Fox News is crying about propaganda. That's like Al-Qaeda crying about terrorism. Are you kidding me? You guys are the kings of propaganda. The kings of propaganda. And then, here's the main point. They're like, well, if they really wanted to make this an objective list, then you would have had 10 Democrats and 10 Republicans. No, dipshit. The truth is not neutral. The truth is not bipartisan. Any more than it's a 50-50 proposition when one person says the stork is how babies are born and the other person says reproduction. No, that's not. You don't say, hey, let's hear them both out. Hey, let's find flaws in both arguments. No, one is right and one is wrong. By the same token, there just are more crazy, more stupid Republicans in the country. That's not an accident. Like, it's amazing to me that these guys trot out these facts and this information as if, like, it proves their point. As if it's like, see, media bias, we have more stupid people. Or you just have more stupid people. Or that's not biased. That's actually rather objective. It's like, it's just like the arguments they make when they say, well, a goddamn liberal bias at universities, goddamn liberal bias amongst professors, goddamn liberal bias amongst scientists. No. It's not a bias. It's just that smart people are more often liberal than conservative. What does that tell you about your ideology? Isn't that sad that they don't put this together? They don't realize it's not like this grand conspiracy where liberals are getting together and like, let's stack academia, let's stack the scientific field. No, smarter people are liberal, so liberals get into the fields where there are smarter people. But they bring it up like, the academia is against us, science is against us, and the list of the craziest is against us. They bring it up like it helps their case. It doesn't help your case. It hurts your case. That's true. If anything, all 20 should have been Republican. All 20 should have been Republican. Really? You're telling me there's not a Republican crazier than Joe Biden in the country? Please, Joe Biden, his intelligence, he's not the brightest guy, but his intelligence blows out of the water the majority of your Republican politicians. So Fox News, fail on top of fail on top of fail. I'm done with these clowns. I mean, if I play that entire segment and I really had to go through every single claim and call out the bullshit, we'd be here the entire 2-hour show.